Next up, I want to bring up Bijal Parmar, one of my mentors, collaborators. He's a digital marketing expert, but more than that, productivity expert, works with vital assistants all around the world. But Bijal can tell you more about that. Bijal, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you. So, I kind of gave my version of the intro, but why don't you tell folks what you're all about and the class that you're going to be teaching here?
Yeah. So the class I'll be teaching will basically be on productivity, but through the use of remote workers. We live at a time that we have access to a global workforce. And the reason I'm so passionate about this is because my first 10 years as an entrepreneur, I'd get excited about something, I'd start something, and after a while, I'd find my motivation kind of waning. Yeah. And I'd go start something new. And after a while, there's excitement of getting something started again. And after a while, I'd find my interest waning again. It wasn't until about 10 years later, I'm kind of a slow learner. 10 years later, I realized it was when I picked up the book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. The reason I fell out of love with what I started was because of the boring aspects of business. The emails, the invoicing, the billing, the admin level of the business. I didn't want to be doing that, but wasn't aware that was what was killing my motivation. It was draining me mentally. Right. So then I realized that, well, if we can delegate that stuff out, we can continue doing what we love the most about our business and delegate the rest out. It's one of the fastest ways to boost productivity. And I think this word productivity is misunderstood, right? Or it's not one of these fancy words, but it's our ability to produce a consistent result in our business. And so it should be a word that every entrepreneur embraces. They wake up and say, hey, what is it I'm going to produce this given day? What's the best use of my time to produce that result? And what can I delegate to team members? That's really what I'll be teaching. How do we do that? How do you prioritize what to delegate, given that there are so many different things? We're all on a tight budget, but there is still a way, even at 1 or 2 hours per day, to bring on a team member and have them do that boring stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I know we share the mindset on, and I'll ask this question for folks: who wants to be a millionaire? Right? Everybody's hand should go up, right? Like everybody here wants to be a multi-millionaire. All right. Well, I think to make $1 million, you have to earn like $500 an hour, right? That's something, right? So to make $1 million, we need to put out enough value in the world that we're earning back $500 an hour. And I'm guilty of this. I know you're guilty of this.
Let me address that. Please, so think about this, right? If anyone's gone to a personal development event, right, at some point there is some question that is along that lines. How many of you want to be a millionaire, right? Hands go up. The whole room, the hands go up. So great. Now think about this. You just said you have to be putting out at least $500 per hour of value. Then we go back to our jobs, or we go back to our business or whatever, and we start doing $5 per hour work. What are we actually saying to universe when we do that? When we devalue our time to $5 or $6 per hour, right? How is it possible mathematically to ever create, forget $1 million business, even $100,000 business, if we're spending our time on that level of work? Yeah, that's a mindset shift. It's not just about finding a VA or finding somebody out there. It's if we are valuing our time at such a small amount, we will never achieve the success that we desire.
Yep, definitely. That is exactly the point there, right? And so investing into our teams, investing into what we do with our times, like as a technologist, I'm trying to not spend as much time, tweaking the number of pixels on a flyer graphic and spending more time building automations that could, continue to work for me later. Can you tell us a little bit about the class you'll be co-hosting or hosting potentially with your daughter?
Yeah. So 2 things. So I'll be teaching on how do we even start thinking about building a team, right? Even if we're on a tight budget, right? Even if it's, I call it the 5-hour per day assistant. What that means is if somebody could help you for about 5 hours for just 1 hour per day as a starting point, what could they do for you that would move the needle in your business? Obviously, a person who's working 1 hour a day is not going to transform your business dramatically, but they can transform one part of your business. And then it's like going to the gym, right? First, we can lift only so much, and then we kind of build the delegation muscle.